knows that. Everybody in the world knew that. I still enjoyed the draft, but it was maybe the worst kept secret in the world that he was going number 1. Except to one living being. We can go to the draft video. Everyone's hanging out. Look at the dog's like, oh, Trevor Lawrence was number 1. He's having a ball. The dog did not realize that Trevor Lawrence was drafted number 1, and he's having a great time. So congratulations to Trevor Lawrence. Congratulations to his dog, who didn't quite know that he was drafted number 1 and enjoyed the festivities.
And congratulations to his grandmother's outfit. That is vintage grandmother.
Nice.
That was perfect.
I was going to congratulate that sectional couch. They literally could not fit one more person on there. We got to draw a blank right now. So much to get to. Here we go. Brandon, your Jets took Zach Wilson with the number 2 pick last night, despite your banging the drum for 97 straight weeks. You've been trying to convince yourself for weeks, though, that this was the right choice. But, Brandon, the best pick of the first round was blank.
Well, look, there was a lot of action last night in the first round. You know, I mean, starting with Trevor Lawrence. I mean, that was a great deal. And then you go to the Jets. That was awesome. Then you get the Chicago Bears. And you go deeper in the draft, and you got Eric Stokes, the big corner out of Georgia. He's going to be phenomenal. He goes to the Packers. I know we're going to be talking about that pick for a long time because it's another pick that the Packers chose to use on the defensive side. But this kid can ball. But the answer is Trey Lance. Trey Lance, man, there's just something about this kid. You know, when you see it, you just see it. And when you look in his eyes and when you just see this kid, he has it. You know, obviously when you turn on the film, you can see it. You can see the talent. You hear about people raving about his processes and his recall and how he does on the board. But this dude has swagger. This dude with Coach Kyle Shanahan is going to have a phenomenal start to his career, and I'm excited to watch. I think in a couple years, we're going to be looking back saying, you know what? This was the steal of the draft potentially.
So I love the Trey Lance pick, but this has been an odd lead up to the draft, and now we're at the morning after, because you have a superstar, generational prospect, who I believe is a future Hall of Famer, and we haven't talked about him at all. So you know the best pick of the first round was? Trevor Lawrence. The guy would have been a top 5 pick if he went high school to pro. Because he was such a no-brainer pick, we've spent no time on him. Nothing. The biggest mention of him last night was, as Wilds mentioned earlier, that his dog was cute and excited. Trevor Lawrence was the best pick of the first round because Trevor Lawrence is going to instantly make the Jacksonville Jaguars something they have only been a couple times in their franchise history, which is relevant. So my answer is Trevor Lawrence.
Okay, talk about instantly changing an offense. My answer is Rashad Bateman. Go Big Ten. Minnesota Gopher is going to Baltimore. So, Brandon, you know what that means? Lamar's got some weapons. Got Sammy Watkins, got Hollywood Brown, now got Rashad Bateman. Maybe Baltimore's offense is finally moving around. If you get Lamar a big contract, he'll have an opportunity to throw the ball around the field, Jenna.
Love it.
Like that.
They don't get rid of him, a la college style. Let's talk Devontae Smith. Many believe he could end up as the best receiver in the draft, but he fell all the way to the Eagles at number 10 behind both Jamar Chase and his Alabama teammate Jalen Waddle. Brandon, though, the biggest surprise of the first round was blank.
It was the Pats standing pat. I mean, all this talk about them moving up to 10, all the talk about them moving up to 4 potentially. Oh, look at that walk-in. I love that walk-in. Can we run that back, please? I know this is not what I'm supposed to be talking about, but you got to see this guy. This guy's ready to go. But it's the Pats standing pat. Like, think about this. They were in love with this guy. Nick Saban, Bill Belichick, best friends. You ain't think Nick and Bill was talking? Hey, man, really, give me the scoop on this guy. Is he the guy? Can he get it done? They sit at 15 and they get their guy. Look at that walk. Look at that walk. That's so bad. We got to work on that Josh McDaniels. But the answer, Nick, is the Pat standing pat. I absolutely love Bill Belichick. He doesn't panic. He's not like everybody else. Let's give up all of this compensation to go get a guy. No, they waited, and he fell right in their arms. So that's the answer. Man, that walk. We got to work on that, though. Jeez.
I'm going with the guy that I did not think was going to be there at 7. Penei Sewell falling to 7, to me, is the biggest surprise.
Yeah.
I understand the Bengals desperately wanted to reunite Burrow and Jamar Chase, but he's not going to be able to throw the ball to Jamar Chase if he's laying flat on his back. And he got his knee blown out last year because he couldn't block anybody. But they went for the flashy, fun player. That sounds disrespectful. I think Chase is going to be a star. But they went for something that, to me, is more of a luxury than a necessity. And you know what that allowed? That allowed for the greatest level of excitement ever surrounding drafting an offensive lineman when Dan Campbell and the eating kneecap Detroit Lions had an absolute rave. I think the first post-pandemic rave happened in the Lions draft room last night when they drafted Sewell.
Trey Lance. The new talk of the town in the Windy City, can Justin Fields win Rookie of the Year this season? And will Alabama product Mac Jones end up being the Patriots'
Look at that
Week
walk.
1 starter?
Look at that
With that,
walk.
we say good Friday morning, everyone.
What a
Welcome
star.
to First Things First. Oh, I'm in a good mood today. Jenna Wolf, Nick Wright, Brandon Marshall, and our resident Patriots fan, Kevin Wilds. Wilds, are you more happy? Are you less happy? Or are you as happy with where the Patriots are now going after last night?
Oh, I could not be happier. A star is born, Jenna, and I'm Bradley Cooper, and Mac Jones is playing the role of Lady Gaga.
I thought you wanted Jimmy G.
Wow. I want everybody, buddy.
That was a turn. That was a turn I didn't expect that to take. We're going to get to everything draft-related, but we have to start with the bombshell out of Green Bay. Just hours before the draft took place, Aaron Rodgers reportedly wants out. So upset with the Green Bay Packers that he wants to be traded before the season, seemingly fed up with the lack of commitment from the organization. We've been talking about it for months. The cup has runneth over. Here's General Manager Brian Gutekunst with his thoughts on the whole situation. Take a listen.
He's our quarterback. He's our leader. We've been working through this for, a little while now. And, I just think it may take some time, but, he's the guy that kind of makes this thing go. So he gives us the best chance to win, and we're going to work towards that end.
Brian, do you think Aaron's ever going to play again for you guys?
I do think he'll play for us again. And we're going to, like I said, we're going to work towards that. And we've been working towards that on a number of different fronts. The value that he has to our football team is really immeasurable. You know what I mean? He brings so much to the table, not only as a player, but a leader. So important to his teammates, to his coaches. So, that's the goal.
Brian, I asked you in February if there was any scenario that you could see trading Aaron, and you said absolutely not at that time. Has that changed? Is there any scenario that you can see trading Aaron Rodgers this offseason?
No, Ryan, I appreciate the question, but no, we're not going to trade Aaron Rodgers.
I don't know, maybe drafting Jordan Love, not the best idea. Maybe in hindsight, we'll take that one back. Hey, Brandon, this feels like it's going to get messy. Maybe even more messy than what happened in Seattle this offseason. Are you surprised that this situation has come to this morning?
I'm not, Jenna, but Mr. Brian, Mr. General Manager, it's not that hard. Just give the man what he wants. Now, I know Aaron Rodgers is smart. I know he's not going to ask for everything and completely deplete the team and leave the Packers in a terrible situation where they can't compete. So it's not that hard. Give him exactly what he wants. I said this before last season. The Green Bay Packers have wasted Aaron Rodgers' career. How do you have a guy like this? We're talking about a guy could have potentially went down as the greatest quarterback ever before Patrick Mahomes came along, and you get one Super Bowl out of him. You continue to just get it wrong. It's time for him to move on. You had 16 great years from Aaron Rodgers. You got the one Super Bowl. You could have had more. But, hey, that's a big deal. It's time to move on. It's okay to move on when it's not working out. We have to learn to let it go, Nick. Aaron Rodgers will be in a different uniform next year. It's done. It's over. The writing's been on the wall.
Wow.
Well, I'm shocked that the majority of those questions at Brian Gutekunst's press conference weren't about the overwhelmingly exciting pick of Eric Stokes, the cornerback out of Alabama. I'm sure that's what he showed up to talk about. It's like, oh, you guys want